nose to it.
No warning, no sound. Just a massive, steady, walking figure straight out of the trees. Cameras were rolling. No one moved. No one breathed. For once, Bigfoot wasn't hiding. And the footage is undeniable. Some sightings leave room for doubt. This one doesn't. Cameras were rolling when a large, dark figure emerged from the tree line, not running, not disappearing, walking, visible, real. Witnesses stood frozen. The sound, the sit, the moment it all lined up. And this time, Bigfoot stepped fully into the open. Back in April 2023, the guy from the YouTube channel Grassman58 wasn't hunting Bigfoot. Nope, he was just out checking the snowmelt, scouting trails, and doing what normal people do when they're not expecting to stumble into something strange. Freighter Lake was supposed to be a calm, quick pit stop. Maybe stretch his legs, maybe hit the restroom, then back on his way. But the lake had other plans. Something near the water's edge pulled his attention. Big, deep, unmissable. See for yourself.
Yeah, we're looking at probably about, give or take the melt, maybe 14-inch, possibly. About 6 inches wide. It's about 7 inches deep.
What he found looked like a footprint. 14 inches long, 6 inches wide, 7 inches deep. Let's be honest, that's not your everyday woodland critter. He probably paused, thinking, okay, who let their prehistoric pet wander around here? The trail didn't stop there. It climbed up the embankment like something big had just strolled through, completely unfazed by the snow. The size and depth of those prints made it clear. This wasn't someone out walking their golden retriever. Take a look at this.
So those tracks over there came up onto the embankment here. Looks like we got something right here. And then there's another impression right there. Looks like another one up there. Okay, we got another impression. Looks like right here. And another one right here.
The stride between each track stretched almost 6 feet. Grassman58 paced it out, realizing it would take him 3 full steps just to match one of these. Imagine seeing that. Something with a step that huge just moving through like it's no big deal. The tracks continued toward the lake. No sign of slipping, no dragging, just clean, steady steps like Bigfoot had perfect snow-walking form. Here's what the camera actually captured.
And we're looking at almost 6 feet. So a step from there down to here, and then on down to the lake. And you can see my impressions right there. So 1, 2, 3 comfortable steps to get to that.
3 big steps, neatly spaced, leading straight to the water. It's like Bigfoot just walked down, dipped a toe in, and kept going. Of course, the snow was melting, so things were a little messy. Grassman58 couldn't stamp this as official Bigfoot evidence without question. But come on, raccoons don't leave tracks like that, and he wasn't out there trying to prove anything that day. He wasn't hunting Bigfoot. He was just in the right place at the weirdest time. And here's the kicker. Just across the road is Nile Lake, barely 200 feet away. That place already has a bit of a legend. Grassman58's camped there. He's heard knocks and strange vocalizations in the past. Locals have talked about it for years. This wasn't some random snowy trail. It's an area that's been buzzing with stories. This footage says it all.
Well, I can't be 100% due to the snow melt, but I thought it was interesting and just wanted to share this with you guys. Now, this area has had a history of a few reports, and Nile Lake, which is just probably 200 feet away on the opposite side of the road. I've camped there before. I've heard vocalizations and knocks from that general location, so maybe this is a good spot to keep an eye on.
Even if he couldn't call it a confirmed sighting, what he found made people sit up and think. Those prints? They were too clean, too big, too perfectly spaced to just brush off. It's like Bigfoot walked through, paused for a second, and left the tracks behind like a signature. Maybe Frater Lake isn't just a snow park. Maybe it's a secret Bigfoot hangout. Or maybe Bigfoot just likes to wander scenic trails when no one's around. But replay and think. Why is this footprint so giant and barefooted?
I don't know.
Either way, it's probably smart to keep an eye on this place when spring comes. The snow melts, the hikers return. And maybe Bigfoot does too, dropping more prints like he's signing in at his favorite spot. So, what would you do if you stumbled across tracks that size? Would you follow them? Or would you pretend you were just there for the bathroom? The YouTuber from Dee's Dark Adventures wasn't out for a peaceful stroll. Nope, she was deep in East Fork, ready to explore, laugh, and maybe, just maybe, catch Bigfoot slipping. And guess what? East Fork didn't disappoint. Right from the jump, things were off. Sounds behind her, quick shuffles, rustling that didn't quite belong. See for yourself.
Guys, I've been sitting here forever. I walked over there. There's a gravel pit that I've taken you guys to. I'm Scotchy Guys sat right next to this what was that? The structure.
At first, the day was chilly. She sat near an old, broken structure, trying every Bigfoot trick in the book. Wood knocks, whoops, random calls. She even got a little sidetracked, dropping a full-on rant about people trying to snitch on her for filming in state parks. Classic. But just when it seemed like a quiet, uneventful trip, things got weird. It's really weird. Something rustled in the distance. Something shuffled close. Not enough to call it Bigfoot yet, but enough to keep her watching. She stayed sharp, moved deeper into the woods. It was still early, but something had shifted. Movement to her left, movement to her right. She could feel it. The air changed. You know that feeling when you're not alone? That. Take a look at this.
Alright, I'm gonna knock real quick, guys. Stupid Bigfoot, I don't know how to get away from it.
Suddenly, footsteps, crunching leaves, definitely something walking. She knocked on a tree. Silence. She kept moving, then found something strange. A log covered in cracked nutshells. Weird part? No nut trees around. None. These shells didn't just fall here. They were brought here. Something or someone had been here. Sitting, snacking, like it was lunch break for Bigfoot. She kept circling, checking trails, feeling the same pull that led her to a live sighting before, right here in East Fork. That night, she'd caught a figure blocking out the moon. Tonight, the vibes were back. Broken branches, a walking stick left behind, grass pressed down like something had been hanging out. Here's the moment it happened.
Here's something behind you guys. Do you see anything? Okay, I'm gonna knock because I'm hearing movement. Wherever that thing was over there, that black thing, it sounds like something moving over there. I might have you too far zoomed in. Stop. Okay, I'm gonna watch behind me. I'm gonna have you guys watch there. Watch. Where'd the thing go? Oh, there it is. I'm watching you, buddy.
She caught something, black, moving fast through the trees. But here's the kicker. She couldn't see it with her own eyes, only through the camera. She zoomed in, focused, blinked, gone. Then the knocking sound started. Boom, boom, boom. It echoed deep. It wasn't a person. It wasn't random. The figure was circling her. You could feel it. The forest got quiet. Too quiet. That's when she caught it. A tree swaying. Just one. Moving like something had pulled it and let go. Then stillness. She tried to laugh it off, but her guard was up now. She knew she was being watched. Watch this clip closely.
Dude. Look at him go. Sorry, I'm trying to hold still. No! Okay, no. Where'd he go?
This is where the action exploded. She spotted a dark figure moving through the trees. Clear movement. She zoomed in, tracking it, locked on. Gone. Seconds later, another one, behind her. She whipped around. Gone again. They were fast. They were toying with her, almost like they were playing hide and seek. And this wasn't just a one-creature game. There were at least two. One led her forward while the other snuck behind. It was fast, smooth, and calculated. Dee was catching glimpses, just enough to make your pulse spike. They knew what they were doing. This footage says it all.
Look at him go. Sorry, I'm trying to hold still. No! Okay, no. Where'd he go? There's one behind me, man. Stop moving. Where'd he go? Where'd you go? He's gone. Shit! Alright, he's gone. I'm done. Okay.
By the time it wrapped up, Dee knew what she'd seen, or almost seen. These weren't blurry shapes that could be anything. The speed, the precision, the back-and-forth movement. It was a chase, a tease, and maybe even a warning. Whether you believe in Bigfoot or not, one thing's clear. Dee from Dee's Dark Adventures has a knack for finding the strange and getting just close enough to leave us guessing. Bigfoot might have the last laugh, but Dee's not done. East Fork's got stories, and she's got more adventures waiting. Who's going to blink first? The crew from the YouTube channel Rocky Mountain Sasquatch wasn't just out for a casual hike. Nope. They were on a mission, following leads from Jenny, who had found some seriously odd impressions in the snow. And when they say impressions, they don't mean a rabbit hop or a deer stomp. They mean big, deep, heavy. Jenny led the way, And as soon as they got there, it was obvious. Something large had passed through. The tracks were old, melted, but still impressive. The shapes were worn down, but their size? Unmistakable. The trail cut right through the area, each step wide, deep, and spaced out like something with serious size had walked by. "Take a look at this," one of them said, pointing at the track.
Oh, yeah.
They're real old and melted, but they're big and they're deep, and they go right through here.
I don't know if the camera even picks those up.
If you get on the other side, then you will. Oh, man.
Even though it was officially spring, the mountains weren't listening. It was still winter up there. Cold, slippery, and whatever had passed through wasn't slipping. It was striding, feet spread wide, leaving behind tracks that didn't line up with your average hiker or animal. They measured the step, nearly 6 feet apart. A bipedal step, clean, direct, and the trackway just kept going, cutting right through the snow like it owned the place. "That's not a bear," one of them joked. And honestly, it didn't walk like a bear. See for yourself.
And how wide that step is.
Yeah, the step from there to there.
That's almost a 6-foot step.
I actually have a tape measure. That's a bipedal looking step too.
They kept moving, following the tracks, when something else caught their attention. A strange flattened area like something big had laid down in the snow. The snow wasn't just pressed, it was discolored, like heat had been there, like something had spent time resting in that exact spot. They leaned in, looking for signs. And there it was. Hair. Dark, long strands, some reddish, some gray, some brown. And not just 1 or 2 pieces. There was hair everywhere. They pulled out collection bags immediately. This wasn't squirrel fluff. This was something else. "Okay, this is weird," they laughed, pulling out more strands, comparing them to known elk fur nearby. The elk fur was completely different. Texture, color, everything. The strands they found were long, fine, and multicolored, and they just kept finding more.
Look at how long those strands are.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
That's hair.
That is hair. Whatever laid here, and look, there's some blood.
There's blood.
There's blood right in the snow by this hair.
Yeah, there is.
One of them even joked, "Oh, look, a kinky one. Maybe it's a Bigfoot pube." Laughter broke up the tension, but they all knew this was serious. The amount of hair, the length, the type, it didn't match anything else around. But it got more interesting. There was blood, right there in the snow near the hair. Not much, but enough to raise eyebrows. Whatever laid here wasn't just cooling off. Maybe it was injured, maybe shedding, maybe something else entirely. They kept pulling samples, careful to avoid contamination. DNA could still be extracted from the hair shafts. They knew this was something they needed to test. It could be the same as the suspected Bigfoot samples they'd collected before. "This is exactly what we've been looking for," one of them said. The size of the resting spot, the volume of hair, the stride length of the tracks, it all painted a picture. Something big had been here. Something that didn't mind lying in the snow. Something covered in hair. Something that didn't leave behind 4-legged prints.
Well, something laid right in here.
Yeah, something big. And look at those long strands, just everywhere.
The snow was deep. The canyon they were exploring, it's a known Bigfoot hotspot. People had reported sightings here before. And the team wasn't just guessing. They were literally standing in the middle of it, following a trail, holding hair, finding blood.
Isn't it amazing? We find a bipedal looking trackway, even though it's melted off,
And a little
with
bag.
close to a 6-foot stride, and something laid down here that in the snow that left behind hair.
That's a big.
That is not fur.
That's a
That
big
is
body.
hair.
That is a big body.
Whoa!
Whether you believe it or not, You can't deny that this was one of the more convincing investigations caught on Rocky Mountain Sasquatch's channel. The size, the evidence, the location, it all lines up. Bigfoot leaves tracks. Bigfoot leaves hair. Bigfoot leaves us chasing shadows. Something big was here. You can feel it. Russell's heart was pounding. Every hair on his arm stood up. The forest had gone still, too still. And then, there it was, a print, huge, deep, sitting right in the sand where no one should have been walking barefoot. See for yourself.
Something has moved through here. Oh my, look at this. Holy, look at that. That is a footprint.
The shape was clear, heel down, toes splayed. It wasn't alone. More prints stretched ahead, wide, steady, and spaced with a giant stride. The team scanned the area. This wasn't an isolated step. It was a trail, big, measured, deliberate. This wasn't the first strange moment on their trip. But this was different. Russell called in backup. The team arrived fast. They scanned the print with high-precision tech. They weren't going to miss a single detail. The scanner could capture everything, even the smallest ridges. If anything was left behind, they'd find it. But something else was waiting. Something fresh.
Here's where it gets really strange. Tell me what you see in front of me.
Oh my God.
These are fresh from last night.
Whoa.
If you look in the water behind it, looks like an impression in the water back here.
Ooh.
This thing literally appears to have come out of the water and onto this bank. These toes are crystal clear.
Oh my God.
Look at where we are right now.
The trail didn't just stop. It came out of the water. Fresh footprints in the wet sand. Perfect toes. Sharp edges. It looked like something massive had stepped right out of the river. Barefoot. And there's more. Another giant print just a few steps away, moving straight back toward the water. The stride? Over 5 feet. The trackway? Clean. Left foot. Right foot. No mistake. It walked upright. Russell knew they couldn't waste time. Prints like these fade fast. Weather, wind, and water would wipe them away. They had to cast it now. The team worked quickly. Russell tracked ahead, following the path. Something big had plowed through the soil, leaving a crushed trail behind. The dirt was torn up, pressed deep by something heavy. Here's the moment it happened.
Whoa. Look at this. Something heavy and big is stepping up and down through this because all of the soil is displaced. And I'm seeing this path definitely going right down that line. You can clearly see something's trampling through here.
The track went straight to the river's edge. The soil was flattened in a perfect line, like something had been moving in and out of the water. If it was using this spot, it could return. The team marked the location, perfect for a trail cam. This was it, a hot spot. With days left in the expedition, they had time to set up camp and track movement. They had the prints, they had the scan, they had the cast. But more than that, they had a window. Maria processed the 3D scan on site. The image is loaded, sharp edges, a perfect arch, toes spread, no smudge, no guesswork. Watch this clip closely.
Wow, you can see toe separation in there.
Yeah, you can. Very clear arch.
Holy smokes.
Hey guys.
You are just in time.
Really?
Yeah.
Check this out. This is awesome.
The details locked in, every curve, every groove. The print was real, and now fully preserved. The cast set fast. They lifted it carefully, capturing every line. Russell's eyes were on the trail. Something had come through here, something that didn't belong. And they were finally in the right place to find it. The excitement kicked in. They weren't chasing shadows anymore. They were closing in. Thermal hits, strange calls, giant strides. It all led here. The team knew what had to happen next. Base camp, full coverage, no distractions. They had to stay locked on this trail. If the creature returned, they'd be ready. This footage says it all.
Whoa, look at this. Do you see that? Oh, look at the size of that. That's a really big print. It's like the heel hit the ground, and it rolled off under these toes.
A perfect print, a perfect cast, a perfect chance. They weren't leaving. Not now. Not with this much evidence. It's rare to get this close, rare to see a trail this clean, and rare to have time left to capture more. Bigfoot left something behind. And Russell's team? They weren't done yet. Deep in the Northumbrian border country, something strange is happening. Sticks, snapped trees, unusual formations, stacked in ways nature can't easily explain. These aren't just fallen branches. They lean, they wedge, they point. It's like they've been placed. Take a look at this.
They all seem to come at the one point, don't they? Or roughly the same point. They all seem to wedge more or less in the same place.
A tight cluster of angled sticks, all broken toward a center point. Different trees, different directions, but all aiming at the same spot. Could this be a shelter? It's not random. The alignment feels deliberate, almost like someone or something built it. Further along the trail, more of these break formations start to appear. Some old, weathered, snapped long ago. Others look fresh. It's quiet here. Too quiet. Every step feels like walking into a story already in progress. This footage says it all.
A little bit more of the debris. You've got the definite, heel area, which is quite low down. In this area here, it seems to...
On the forest floor, a large impression stands out. A clear trackway cutting through the undergrowth. There's a heel mark, wide and deep. It's not just a soft patch in the dirt. It's shaped. There's weight behind it, like something big crossed here. The trail keeps revealing more. Snapped limbs, heavy breaks, tall tree limbs cracked at impossible heights. Some of them way above human reach. A 9-foot break here, another one even higher. Could the wind do this? Could people? The higher you look, the stranger it gets. Watch this clip closely.
It's another 2 or 3 foot above me. Now I would say it was about at least 9 foot. You've got break there, another one there.
Branches snapped and dangling, scattered like a breadcrumb trail through the woods. There's no saw marks, no sign of human work, just raw, torn wood. Multiple breaks across different types of trees. Conifers, birches, some snapped low, some snapped near the top. The deeper the search goes, the more signs appear. 2 trees, bent unnaturally, arched over each other with nothing pinning them down. Another snapped branch carefully laid across them. It's like a marker, or a warning. Here's the moment it happened.
I mean, look at that, man. You've even got like a small tree there, which is dead. But you've also got this other branch, which has been snapped over.
More breaks, more toppled trees wedged in strange ways. In one spot, at least 10 breaks can be seen at once, all within a small area. Stacked, leaning, balanced, almost as if someone arranged them. It doesn't look accidental.
I mean, what could have caused those 2 trees to bend in an arc all the way around to there?
Even more curious, one branch hangs in midair, out of place, no clear tree it came from. Could it have been dragged, slide into place? It doesn't match anything nearby. It feels placed. Take a look at this.
In this channel here, this ditch, and what looks like a break. It's a branch stuck in the ground, but it's been snapped off at the top.
In the middle of a ditch, a snapped branch is jammed into the ground, standing upright. There's fresh signs of animal tracks nearby, and the area is clearly rich with food. A fox even makes an appearance, running the trail, pausing to check if it's being followed. This isn't just about tree breaks. It's about patterns. It's about the question no one can answer. Who or what is moving through these forests, leaving signs behind?
I think it was snapped somewhere else and just hanging 12 foot up.
Could this be the work of the elusive wild man, the one local legends have whispered about for centuries? The deeper you look, the more the forest speaks. Snaps, bends, tracks, and maybe, just maybe, it's not all in the imagination. What do you think? Coincidence? Or is something out there shaping the woods in its own way? It happened deep in northern Minnesota, close to the Canadian border. Rough, uninhabited land where winter locks everything away. An anonymous researcher, Jerry Trips, along with his professional guide, stumbled onto something remarkable: a 3-mile trackway, a continuous path of what appeared to be Sasquatch footprints. The prints were huge, 17 inches long, 6.5 inches wide. Every time the path approached a downed tree, the creature would veer towards it, stepping sideways along the trunk, as if it preferred walking on the trees. The tracks weren't random. They were in line, perfectly aligned, step after step, moving through territory far beyond human reach. Watch the struggle.
What it takes for me to get through here.
This is over my waist, and he's just stepping. I can't even make the step without dragging my feet.
Not even close.
Up and over, up and over, up and over.
There's what it takes a human to get through.
This wasn't a place people casually explored. It's a 5-mile by 5-mile bog, nearly impossible to access except in deep winter. The team had to cross 6 beaver dams and create their own land routes to get there. They saw tracks from all kinds of animals, but nothing like this, nothing that matched.
Up and over, up and over, up and over. In line, perfectly in line, every step.
This is the best.
For the humans, it was brutal. Up and over fallen logs, dragging their feet through waist-deep snow. But the Sasquatch trail? It moved effortlessly, floating over the same terrain, step after impossible step. The researcher followed the prints south for nearly 3 miles. The trail stopped in an open patch of snow. He suspected the creature had bedded down there as snow covered the rest of the path. Turning back, he followed the prints the other way. 2 more miles. At one point, the trail circled back on itself, then veered off again. What struck him most? Wherever it could, the creature chose to sidestep along downed trees. Always, watch the impossible stride.
Sideways, see this branch under here? Hope you can see it. Step sideways. Oh, look at this. So here's where I step. The next step, way up there.
One clip shows it clearly. A step onto a log, then the next step, impossibly far ahead. The gap? Over 6 feet. Even a 6'2" man couldn't stretch that far. The trail had no exit, no ending. It just vanished. Stride lengths varied, sometimes 15 inches, sometimes over 55 inches, depending on the terrain. Yet the pattern remained in line, almost perfectly straight.
I can't even, I'm 6'2", I can't even, look at this. Like, that's full stretch. And it was all the way up there.
Some tracks showed the big toe protruding slightly forward. Others displayed the mid-tarsal break, a distinct pressure ridge across the middle of the foot, consistent with other suspected Sasquatch prints. Review the detailed track.
Basically, you can see a slight right to left, but basically it's almost completely in line, and they vary from 15 to 30, 55.
These weren't isolated signs. The mid-tarsal break, the wide foot, the squared toes, they matched other known Bigfoot tracks, and the team had been here before. In 2009, after clearing a beaver dam, they had an intense night. Loud sounds, heavy movement. The next morning, they found a massive scat deposit on top of the rebuilt beaver dam, about the size of 5 soda cans. A sign left behind. Then in 2011, while snowmobiling across a remote frozen lake, they came across another trail. It ended at a steep, almost unclimbable hill. As they approached, they saw snow slide down, as if something had just climbed up. Determined, two of the men scaled the hill using climbing techniques. What they found at the top was shocking. Deer and moose carcasses stacked like bait. It looked like a trap. Animals would naturally follow the easiest path, straight to the bottleneck of the hill, where something could ambush them.
It piqued their interest. The next, last February, they were snowmobiling and they came across a large path that went across this remote lake.
One of the most unnerving encounters came later at a lakeside cabin, the only one on a 6-mile-long lake. That night, the team shined powerful lights up at the satellites overhead. After about an hour, one team member stepped off the dock toward the cabin. Suddenly, a large boulder, about the size of a basketball, crashed into the water between him and the others. Moments later, another rock hit. They searched with lights but saw nothing. Watch yourself.
One of the guys gets off and then moves over to the cabin, steps off the dock. And when he steps off the dock, a large boulder type rock, maybe the size of a basketball, gets hurled to the trees.
The rocks kept coming. Another one hurled over their heads, crashing nearby. They heard whoops, wood knocks, more rocks thrown, targeted, deliberate. The rocks they later found were too large for a person to throw any meaningful distance. This wasn't random. Someone or something was watching. Years of encounters, strange structures, massive footprints, tracks across frozen lakes, rocks thrown in the dead of night. It's all there for those willing to go deep enough. Facebook. Find Bigfoot shared this discovery. A record that still stands as one of the longest continuous Sasquatch trackways ever documented. If you've seen something, if you've followed strange tracks, drop your story below. The forest remembers, and something still walks these places. He didn't go out there expecting this. Deep in the wilderness, surrounded by thick moss and towering trees, something unexpected crossed his path. From the Mountain Beast Mysteries channel, this was supposed to be just another expedition. But what he found out there, it changed everything. It all started with a footprint, a clear, bare, human-like footprint, right there in the moss. You could see it, the heel, the narrowing shape, the toes spread out just enough. It wasn't a perfect print, but it was enough to freeze him in place. It didn't look like a bear. It didn't look like anything he could easily explain. And if it really was Bigfoot, this would be his first track ever. See for yourself.
It looks like toes. I mean, if this is from a Bigfoot, it's the first track I've ever found. And it's a shame it's in the moss, because it'd be nice to try and cast one.
The print sits right in the moss, deep enough to hold its shape. It looks like something walked barefoot through that area. The toes, the heel, the length, all there. It's hard to cast a print in moss, but there's no doubt it's an impression. This wasn't just a random dent. It's wide, long, and real. But it didn't stop there. Not long after, he spotted something strange. A heavy branch wedged between tree limbs, high off the ground. It wasn't something that fell naturally. The nearby trees didn't match the type of branch. It was out of place, almost like something had intentionally put it there. Maybe a marker, maybe a sign. Or maybe it was just the first clue that he wasn't alone. As night fell, the feeling of being watched only grew stronger. He stayed near camp, setting up trail cameras, ready for anything. But when it got dark, things got serious.
When all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we were all startled to hear a loud crack and what sounded like a small tree falling over very close to our camp area, but just out of sight and a little ways into the trees. This set the tone for the rest of the expedition. We immediately grabbed the cameras and wandered off into the darkness in search of whatever caused this disturbance. Lesson learned? Always have your cameras rolling.
A loud crack, a small tree snapping nearby. It wasn't far. It was loud enough to make everyone stop. They scrambled to grab cameras, heading into the trees to figure out what caused the sound. They didn't see anything, but that sound, that crack, set the tone for the night. From then on, every step felt like something was watching. Later, while walking back to their vehicle, they found something no one expected. Take a look at this.
Yeah, we were walking up to the car here. I was just about to get some more stuff before we head out, and we noticed a few of these kind of strange looking handprints, like up to my hand. You can see what would be the palm, or what looks like the palm is a little bit lower. So it almost looks as though something maybe put a hand on here and then peered in.
2 strange handprints on the vehicle's side window. They weren't there when they arrived. They weren't from the crew. The handprints didn't line up with where anyone would naturally place their hands. The palms pressed lower, the fingers spread wide, and the print size was unusual. What stood out most, clear dermal ridges. That's a primate trait, not something you see from random animal marks. The group had no explanation. Could a juvenile Bigfoot have walked through their camp, peering into their vehicle? Or was it someone else? The prints didn't smear like you'd expect from rushed movement. They were deliberate, like something paused there. But the most convincing evidence came near the end of their trip. Another footprint appeared, even larger than the first. It was wide. The toes were fully splayed, and the pressure was real. Watch this clip closely.
Right here, we have another potential track. And I could just be imagining it, but what I kind of am visualizing is it coming to here and going around here. And it would be like the left foot coming. These would be where the toes are here.
A massive track pressed into the forest floor. Around 12.5 inches, the toes spread naturally, just like prints seen in other Sasquatch cases. The midsection was broad. The steps seemed natural, not staged or accidental. This wasn't the only track. Another impression nearby showed movement. Something big had been there, moving through that space. Throughout the trip, signs piled up. Strange sounds, tree markers, handprints, and those striking footprints. It wasn't a blurry shape or faraway noise. It was physical. It was close. It's the kind of evidence that makes you think. Could it really be Bigfoot? Was something out there watching them, moving through their camp when no one was looking? What do you think left those prints? Could Bigfoot have been right there all along? Dee went out to break a challenge, but she ended up facing the scariest night of her life. It was supposed to be a solo camping trip to celebrate 100,000 subscribers on her channel, Dee's Dark Adventures. She chose Salt Fork, alone, deep in the woods, with only her 2 dogs, Mara and Mia. From the start, Mara acted strange. She kept staring into the woods, focused, refusing to move. Dee couldn't see anything, just smoke and stillness. No frogs, no crickets. The woods were dead silent. Something was off. Mara wouldn't let it go. She stared, growled, then froze again. See for yourself. The moment Mara wouldn't stop watching something in the dark.
There's the smoke in the way. I can't see what she's seeing. She keeps... Mara! I don't know what she's seeing.
Dee tried to calm her down, but Mara stayed locked in, growling at the unseen. Then Dee noticed it. Strange lights deep in the trees. 1, then 2, then 3. Were they reflections or something else? They flickered, they moved, and then they were gone. Whatever was out there, it had her dogs on edge. Take a look at this. The moment those lights appeared in the woods.
What is that light? Is that a light right there? What is that? Is that what she's looking at? No, there's 2? Where Is that the fire? Guys, I don't know. I think it's a fire. I hope. There's 3 now on the camera. I'm hoping it's just fire. Yeah, okay, there it went. All right.
Feeling exposed, Dee packed the dogs into the truck, trying to keep them safe while she walked the trail alone. This was where her dogs had bolted earlier. The woods were too quiet. No insects, no breeze, just stillness. Then, a sharp metal clank broke the silence. Dee spun around. Movement, but nothing was there. She pushed forward, then came the knocks. One to the left, another up ahead. The trees around her trembled. She kept walking, but the woods closed in. Suddenly, a large tree shook right in front of her. No wind, no reason, just movement. She knew she wasn't alone. Something was watching. Something was near. Watch this clip closely. The tree that moved without warning.
There's no wind except for now. Like, what? I got 2 between me. I got 1 in front of me. Just moved the whole tree. Oh my god, that's crazy. Stop. Okay. Okay.
Dee called out. She meant no harm, but the feeling got worse. She found a snowy owl perched nearby. A beautiful moment, but it didn't calm the dread. Her dogs were whining back at the tent. The knocks returned, closer now. Movement surrounded her. Fear climbed fast. She rushed back to the tent. Then something hit it, hard. The pressure was closing in. Her dogs shook in fear. Dee pressed her camera against the mesh, desperate to see what was outside. Heavy footsteps circled. Then, eye shine. Quick, gone. Panic took over. Here's the moment it happened. The pounding, the circling, the terror closing in.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I can't do this, guys. I can't do this, guys. I can't do this, guys. I'm sorry, girls. This was a bad idea. Something, I swear, something just like raise my tent. I'm not sure. I have to get out and walk, but I don't want to leave them.
She begged it to stop, begged it to leave. She couldn't see it, but she knew it was there. Dee packed up in a frenzy, grabbed the dogs, and bolted for the truck. But something was still moving out there, still following. The sounds wouldn't stop. Even from inside the truck, the knocks echoed. They were closing in. Dee didn't quit. After calming down, she went back in. She pushed herself to keep recording. But the woods weren't finished with her. Knocks returned. Movement darted between the trees. Shapes shifted in the dark. Dee could hear them but never see them. Here's the moment she could not keep calm anymore.
They're all around me. I don't think they're used to this kind of stuff. Like people coming out and being like, hey, how are you? She's coming out to see us. Well, let's rev her up a little bit. Oh God. I'm breathing heavy, guys. I'm sorry. I know that sucks when somebody's going in the stupid thing, but I'm scared, okay? I admit it. I am freaked out right now.
She sat for hours, listening, watching, waiting. Then came the final moment. A sound so close, so heavy. It was enough. She called it. She was done. She drove away, panic flooding her chest.
Absolutely not. I'm done. I'm done. Oh God! I just pointed you. Oh God, I backed up too far. Thank God for four-wheel drive. Oh God, I'm panicked, dude.
She was safe, but the fear stuck with her. Something was out there that night. Something that didn't want her there. Would you have stayed? They went out chasing Bigfoot, but something else was chasing them. In the cold, shadowy Appalachian mountains, YouTuber Exploring with Bear teamed up with Doug from Fear Fanatics on a 48-hour mission. Their goal? Track Bigfoot. No electricity, no water. Just them, their cameras, and the wilderness that's known for strange encounters. But they weren't ready for what was waiting. The first night started out calm, just the sounds of the woods and the crunch of their footsteps. But the silence didn't last. Soon, stones began flying out of the darkness. Hard impacts, sharp, loud thuds near the trail. They didn't see what threw them, but something was there, and it wanted them to know. Take a look at this.
All right, so we just did some Bigfoot calls. And I just heard something. I didn't have the camera rolling, dang it. We're going to be here for so long.
That wasn't just a rock dropping. You can hear the throw. It was fast, deliberate. Something was close, too close. The shock in their voices says it all. This wasn't just the wind. As they continued along the trail, the forest around them came alive. Branches snapped in the distance. Heavy footfalls circled them, and just beyond the light they caught a glimpse. A dark figure, barely visible through the trees. It never showed itself fully. It just kept its distance.
Did you hear something? Yeah, is my flash... What is that up there? Man, my flashlight ain't doing good.
I can't tell.
It looks weird, whatever, like out of place. Sort of like in the middle where my light's at.
I see it. I don't know what that is.
It's not coming up good on camera, but it looks weird.
Watching, they tried Bigfoot calls. They knocked rocks together, and something answered back. The clacks returned from deeper in the woods, like a distant echo. But it wasn't an echo. It felt like a response. Here's the moment it happened. A rock flies clear as day.
I know you... Holy smokes, man. Hold on. What the heck? It was like a...
I saw something go flying through there, dude.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you got it on camera?
I don't know if that's...
Man, I hope that sound... I hope they could hear that. That sucker was loud.
In the woods, bro. Hold on.
It skips across the creek bed with speed and force. This wasn't gravity. Something threw it, on purpose, and it wasn't far from them. Their pace changed. You can hear the breath shorten. You can feel the urgency rising. But they didn't stop. They pushed forward, deeper into the trail, toward the sounds. They called out again, and again, the response. Movement, snapping branches, a heavy crash somewhere ahead. Whatever it was aware, and it wasn't backing down. Watch this clip closely.
Go.
Another rock gets thrown, closer this time. The sound is sharp. It hits with force. It's no accident. That's when they bolt. They don't think. They just run. Full sprint, desperate to get distance between themselves and whatever was chasing them. Back at camp, they caught their breath. But the forest wasn't finished. In the quiet, another sound echoed through the woods. More movement. Another crash. The thing that followed them. It was still out there. It didn't stop when they did. This footage says it all. The final sprint. You can hear it. The panic, the speed, the overwhelming sense of needing to get out now.
Look. I know. Don't make it too bright. So don't make the light too bright. So we ran for a minute. And man, it was so hard to see. I was dropping stuff. I dropped the camera. I hope it's okay. I haven't turned the light on good enough to expect it, but... So we went total lights out and just sat here in the dark.
A second crash hits behind them. Close. It pushed them to the edge. When they reached the RV, they finally stopped. They were safe, for now. But the question stayed with them. What was it? Was it Bigfoot? Or something else that hunts in these mountains? They didn't see it. Not directly. But they heard it. They felt it. The pounding of something big. The well-aimed rocks. The strategic movement in the trees. It wasn't random. It wasn't an accident. Whatever it was, it followed them all night. It came in close. It wanted to be heard. Dee's dark adventures and fear fanatics captured something real, something aggressive, something that didn't want to be seen, but absolutely wanted to be known. So what do you think? Was it Bigfoot, a territorial creature, or was something hunting them all along? Let us know what you believe. In 2021, Corinne and Chelsea walked straight into one of England's most terrifying legends. 2 girls, 1 forest. No way to predict what would happen next. They weren't just exploring, they were camping overnight in Daring Woods, the place locals call the Screaming Woods. A place you don't go after dark. A place where screams rise out of nowhere. Footsteps follow you when no one's there. Shadows move where light shouldn't reach. It's not just stories, it's recorded. It's in the Guinness World Records. England's most haunted forest. 14 known spirits, they say. Some wander, some watch, some warn you to leave. Others? No one's sure. But everyone agrees. If you go in, you don't come out the same. Corinne and Chelsea started lighthearted. They joked. They struggled to set up their tent. It was meant to be a fun overnight challenge. But even before they got deep inside, the feelings started creeping in. Something wasn't right. They brushed it off. The night was young. See for yourself.
There's said to be 14 ghosts that haunt the village, because it's a village that we're going to. So they also call it the Screaming Woods, because people often report hearing screams from nowhere, footsteps in the woods, apparitions. There's been quite a few disappearances, and there was a massacre, and there was like a massive pile of unalived people.
The stories surrounding this forest are brutal. A highwayman was hunted down here, captured, beheaded. His shadow still walks. Locals whisper about footsteps on foggy mornings. Screams cutting through the silence. People disappearing without leaving a trace. And then, there's the massacre. November 1948. 20 people were found in the woods, unresponsive and still. 11 were children. Their bodies were piled together, no visible injuries. The investigation didn't last long. Officials said it was carbon monoxide poisoning. But how does that happen in the middle of open woods? It never sat right with anyone. The girls explored the forest trails near their camp. But something unexpected happened. The ground, which looked solid, wasn't safe. Corinne's entire shoe got swallowed by the mud. It wasn't a simple step into soft dirt. The mud pulled. It dragged her down and suctioned her foot like something wanted to trap her. Take a look at this.
I can't. That's all right. I can't. Where's the torch? Mate, my whole shoe just came off. I'm trying to find the torch so I can...
Her shoe disappeared into the mud. They panicked. She pulled it out, covered in thick layers of sticky dirt. They laughed, but there was nervous energy behind it. The forest didn't want to let her go. They made it back to their tent. They tried to settle in, but the woods wouldn't let them rest. The silence got heavier. The air shifted. The fun started to break down. The feeling was back, that something was out there, that something was watching. The lights inside their tent went out, not just flickered, fully shut off. They turned them back on. They went off again. These batteries were still holding power. The equipment was new, fully charged. Lights that only turn off if you hold the power button down. But they went out on their own. The fear started to show. Their movements got faster. Their breathing picked up. The forest was closing in. Suddenly, Corinne heard it. Here's the moment it happened.
You don't know what I just heard.
Mate, I want to go home.
You don't know what I just heard.
Mate.
You don't know what I just heard?
I don't want to know right now. I'm scared.
You don't know what I just heard.
Mate, I'm getting the What is it, a person? This was a bad idea. We can always just go to the car.
A loud, deep banging sound. It came from far in the woods. It didn't echo like a branch falling. It was deliberate. Boom, boom. 2 hard knocks from something big. She froze. She wanted to leave. She didn't want to wait for whatever came next. The banging didn't repeat, but the panic didn't fade. They rushed to check the time. 10 p.m. They worried the park gates might lock soon. They feared getting trapped inside. They scrambled, searching for phones, looking for a way out. No signal, no backup. Just them and the dark. And then another sound broke the silence. This footage says it all.
That's just people. I heard a scream. It's just people. Should we fucking go? You've got to stick it out a bit.
A scream. Sharp. Quick. It wasn't from Corinne. It wasn't from Chelsea. It came from deeper in the forest. They paused, waiting to hear it again. But it never came back. It just echoed and vanished. That was the last sound before the forest went still again. They were done. Packing up wasn't fast. Their gear was spread out. They couldn't grab everything quickly. But they didn't care. Staying wasn't an option. The fear was real. The screaming woods had made itself known. It wasn't a story anymore. It was there. They felt it. They heard it.
As I turned the camera off as well, it happened. Should have just kept the camera rolling. And then when you got the camera on, nothing happens. Oh, I'm about to do the same thing.
My big, massive mark in the mark.
Yeah, I know. I showed it on camera a minute ago. I nearly did the exact same thing. I nearly went through the same mud.
The final moments were raw. Frustration, fear, scrambling to figure out their next move. But one thing was clear. They didn't want to be there anymore. Not another minute. Not another sound. Daring Woods didn't chase them out with a full apparition. It didn't need to. Sometimes it's the little things that get to you. The silence that presses down. The equipment that fails without reason. The sounds you can't trace. The screams that don't return. It's enough to break you.
Turn the lights off. The car's there. Yeah, I know. But got it. We need to stay quiet because there are people. That wasn't a ghost. That was a person, and we don't want people seeing where we are.
Some people call it urban legend. Others call it the most haunted place in England. But the footage Corinne and Chelsea captured tells its own story. They went in for a thrill. They left with something they'll never forget. Would you have stayed? Would you have waited to hear the next sound? Or would you have packed up and run? Some places don't want you there. And when the screaming woods speaks, you listen. Was this the proof everyone's been waiting for? Or just another mystery left wide open? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if this footage stopped you in your tracks. And subscribe, because sightings like this are getting closer, clearer, and the next one could be even harder to ignore.